When you talk about Doug Wheeler, you're talking about the zenith of citizenship, of presenting. He's created such a revolution around education, the community, being a man of such elegance and ease, and above all of integrity.
In the mid-1960s, the Washington, D.C.-based concert presenter Patrick Hayes saw a need in the city's cultural life for regular performances by the world's finest artists in music and dance. And he was confident he could not only find, but build an audience, one including both lifelong aficionados and those who had never before attended a live performance. So, in 1966, Hayes founded the nonprofit Washington Performing Arts Society and dedicated himself to presenting concerts and dance performances for the broadest audience possible. He surrounded himself with impeccable partners, including, as inaugural chairman of the board, the distinguished singer Todd Duncan. And crucially, he also hired and mentored a young concert booker by the name of Douglas Wheeler, a man who would one day succeed Hayes, becoming the organization's second president. Together, these two impresarios embraced a favorite motto of Patrick Hayes that would become the guiding vision for the organization: everybody in, nobody out.
It was something that was lived every day and not just some wonderful words or a catchy phrase. And this was the case with my father, and it is also very much the case with Doug Wheeler and his successors. At the time, I know my father was extremely active in the fight against segregated public places and was recognized for that work, but it was a much, much broader notion for him. From the very beginning, he presented extremely well-known artists like Toscanini and Maria Callas. He also presented very young, unknown artists. So diversity for him, without a doubt, was something he lived every day. Doug so naturally and spontaneously carried on with the idea of the Washington Performing Arts being a very active member of a large community. And I think he did it in a way that was very personal, and it seems to me that he broadened enormously what my father had begun to do.
Doug Wheeler built on Patrick Hayes' strong foundation to expand Washington Performing Arts Society's presentations on stage, as well as its education and community programs throughout the district. When it came to quality on stage, Doug Wheeler was never satisfied with the merely good. He was always in pursuit of the great, the unforgettable, the life-changing. His taste was infallible, and he committed not only to identifying young artists, but to nurturing their development and supporting their careers for years, or even decades.
I think I first met Doug, I was in my early 20s, so now I'm 54. I speak for many, many people when I talk about the depth of love that we have for him and respect for where he placed us in the culture, what he felt about the culture, how he presented us, what he led us to do. The things that he always wanted you to do were always things that had to do with uplift, and he was always most for real. So it's actually an honor for me to talk about him. He represented the organization with a certain type of soul, and the organization carried out its work with that type of soul and feeling. And if we could have had 50 around our country, we'd be a different nation right now.
Over the years, Doug Wheeler ensured that Washington Performing Arts programs continued to serve and engage diverse communities from throughout the Washington region and beyond. In 1971, he debuted the Joseph and Goldie Fader Memorial String Competition, awarding lessons and scholarships to promising young musicians. In 1991, he launched the Men and Women of the Gospel Choir, followed in 1993 by the Children of the Gospel Choir, two of Washington Performing Arts' signature artistic and community programs. Doug's civic activism expanded numerous community partnerships and the role of the organization's Women's Committee, and he continued to enrich the lives of the region's young people with education programs in the schools, including the Embassy Adoption Program, concerts in schools, and teaching artists. Not surprisingly, he garnered national recognition for his work, becoming a model for artists, arts presenters, and all who see the best of the performing arts as crucial to our civic life. But undoubtedly, Doug Wheeler's greatest ongoing legacy is right where he started, on the staff of Washington Performing Arts. where he continues to play a key day-to-day advisory role as President Emeritus.
It's a very interesting construct to have a new leader of an organization working alongside a President Emeritus, a predecessor. I've gotten to know the man that people love, not just the person they admire, but the person that people love. Doug is not only a visionary, he is a great human, he is a great thinker. He has high aspirations, not just for the arts, but the way communities can come together around the arts. And he is very personal in the way he advocates for artists and audiences. Doug, I often refer to Doug as the Oracle, because he's someone who brings to bear in everything he does and says the wisdom of a lifetime spent in the arts, but also the humanity of someone who has seen the impact of great art upon our culture and upon our communities. Some of those fundamental values that Doug and Patrick Hayes created and articulated over many years are ones that we can interpret and continue to carry forward.
Everybody in, nobody out. 50 years ago, these simple yet powerful words of Patrick Hayes inaugurated Washington Performing Arts Society. First as protege, then as leader, and now as invaluable advisor. Doug Wheeler has put those words into action, fostering decades of growth, innovation, and above all, inclusion. We salute you, Doug. Your life and work continue to inspire us as we embark upon the second half-century of Washington Performing Arts.